Tease me.
All right. Research estimates that about 40 to 50% of homicides involve alcohol, meaning either the offender, the victim, or both have consumed alcohol around the time of the crime. Alcohol use by victims or perpetrators is especially common in intimate partner homicides, with tens of percent showing positive blood alcohol tests. At 3:17 a.m. on Valentine's Day 2013, 4 shots were fired through a locked bathroom door in Pretoria, South Africa. By sunrise, South Africa's golden boy was a murder suspect.
Here we go. Underwear. Alcohol. Syphilis. Murder. Forbidden.
Here we go. Do you have any idea of who this is
Sounds
about?
familiar.
Does it?
Hmm. Well, before we get in, oh, you know what? I should have all the things ready, shouldn't I?
Just
Listen,
can't ever count on you, can I?
you can't, I didn't get to eat lunch today. My mind's a little foggy. I just got home,
No worries.
and I have lots of excuses for my bad behavior. Well, first of all, Amanda, let me welcome everyone to Forbidden, the podcast where we discuss the dark, the disgusting, and the disgraceful in our unmentionables. That's right, we've slipped into something more comfortable tonight. It's something very worn on my part. And listener, we hope that you are too. Oh, yes, and we have cocktail in hand. Cocktail in hand.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm your host, Blake Roberts.
And I'm Amanda Kamada.
And Amanda, alcohol has fueled celebration for centuries, but it has also ignited obsession, greed, and violence. This is our limited series Lush, exploring the true crime stories where excess becomes the catalyst for betrayal, ruin, and murder.
And
Tell
tonight,
us.
yes, and tonight we're talking about the murderous side of alcohol. Sources tonight are alcohol.org, PubMed. Did you know there was an alcohol.org? I bet you didn't. PubMed, People Magazine, Wikipedia, and The Independent. So tonight we're going to talk about Oscar Pistorius and the 2013 killing of his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. So exactly what happened? Like I said, in the early hours of Valentine's Day, Paralympic and Olympic sprinter Oscar Pistorius shot and killed his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, firing 4 shots through a locked bathroom door at his home. He claimed he believed an intruder was hiding in the bathroom and that the shooting was accidental, and he believed Reeva was still in bed when he fired the shots. Likely story. Moments later, South Africa's most celebrated athlete would stand barefoot on the lawn, crying as police arrived. By sunrise, the Blade Runner would be the murder suspect. So, who is Oscar Pistorius? Yes, Oscar Pistorius was more than an athlete. He was basically a symbol for South Africa and abroad. He was born without fibulas, which is the bottom half of his legs. So both legs were amputated below the knee when he was a child, and he became a Paralympic and then legend and then something more. In 2012, he ran in the Olympic Games, hailed as proof that disability did not mean limitation. So basically, he was a Paralympic athlete first, but wanted to prove that he could run with able bodied runners. And so he ran against sprinters and won who actually had, the use of both of their legs. So naturally, he became an inspirational symbol for not only South Africa, but the world in general. So, of course, in turn, sponsors lined up, cameras followed, and to the world, he was fearless and revered. Then there was his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. She was a beautiful, intelligent law graduate with a growing media presence. I believe that she had done some news commentary, some reality television, that sort of thing, like really beautiful woman. They had only been dating like 3 months when this happened. So, a very short time, it was a very intense relationship, fast and all consuming. The relationship was very volatile, and the couple had although the couple had only been dating, like I said, around 3 months. Text messages later read aloud in court revealed something very different from their public image. Reeva told Oscar she felt scared when he snapped, that she felt like she had to walk on eggshells. Friends would testify that arguments were very common between them and that emotions ran high. Oscar himself struggled with anxiety and insomnia. He slept with a firearm nearby, which is not uncommon because South Africa has a very high crime rate, and he lived in a gated community. He was very wealthy. And so I think that a lot of people are armed in South Africa because of the violence level that is there. But that night, alcohol had been consumed, wine in the house. He admitted to drinking, though no blood alcohol level would ever be conclusively established. Clearly, this was not a calm household.
So, this is sort of crazy because I think everyone knows this story. If you're like me, though, I don't remember it very well. It could be all the alcohol I've consumed
It could
over the
be.
years.
Right.
But I don't remember a lot of the details. I'm from a very high level. I do, so I'm excited to hear more of what you're going to share this evening. But this reminds me a little bit, just very quickly, about the story about Alice and Botha that I did. It's our first YouTube episode,
Yes.
which occurred in South Africa. I remember reading some stats from that about crime in South Africa, particularly crimes toward women that are like egregiously high. To use one of your words, egregiously. But I pulled that up real quick, just a quick little refresher.
Hmm.
So, from July to September of 2023, South Africa recorded 10,516 rapes, over
Jesus.
1,500 cases of attempted murder, over 14,000 assaults against female victims. And in that same period, again, July to September of 2023, just a few months, a couple
That's
of
like
months.
3 months,
Yeah. Yeah.
or not even, like two.
Yeah. 881 women were murdered.
Holy shit.
The country's female homicide rate is about 6 times the global average.
That's
So,
wild.
yeah, I just wanted to quickly share that.
Yeah.
But
So that gives a little bit of it shows a little bit of the gravity of the situation that's already happening there.
right.
And then you layer like somebody this famous on top of it. And, it just becomes like unreal, that this could happen.
Hmm.
So a little from some details of what happened that night, which was February 14th of 2013. So Valentine's Day. How romantic. Sometime after 3 a.m., Reeva Steenkamp went to the bathroom. What happened next would be debated in the court system and still to this day. Oscar Pistorius said he believed an intruder was hiding behind the door. He claimed fear overtook him. He retrieved his 9mm pistol, and without opening the door, without confirming who was there, he fired 4 shots. And this is what he told them, why he did it. The bullets tore through the door. One stuck Reeva in the hip, another in the arm. A final shot to the head was fatal. She had nowhere to run. She was behind a locked door. Now, pray tell, why would you be hiding in a bathroom behind a locked door? Oscar insisted that it was a tragic mistake, that he thought Reeva was still in bed when he got up and shot through the door because he thought it was an intruder, and that his fear, magnified by past break ins, anxiety, and vulnerability, took control. But prosecutors told a different story. They argued that whoever was behind the door, intruder or not, Oscar knew a person was there, that firing 4 times into confined space showed reckless disregard for human life. Neighbors actually testified that they heard screaming before the shots. So Oscar's version of events shifted under cross examination. The courtroom watched as the once invincible athlete cried. He vomited and collapsed during his court hearings. But emotion was not evidence. So him being that emotional didn't bear any, evidence that he was not guilty. In 2014, the judge delivered a controversial verdict: culpable homicide, manslaughter. The world reacted with outrage, which is crazy to me. It's like the O.J. Simpson case all over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like this person is such a huge star and a star athlete that there are some people who just don't believe that he's capable of doing something like that.
Right. You're essentially saying, oh, it was just sort of like a careless act that resulted in someone's death.
Right. Right. So South Africa's, so they had a number of appeals that followed, and South Africa's Supreme Court of Appeal ruled, that Pistorius should have foreseen death as a consequence of his actions. And under South African law, intent does not require targeting a specific person. If you pull the trigger knowing someone could die, that is enough. In 2017, the conviction was upgraded to murder, and he was sentenced to 13 years and 5 months in prison. I believe he's now out of prison. I don't think that he served that whole 13 years and 5 months in prison. So, this case is more than a crime story. It's a forced reckoning about celebrity, about domestic violence, about guns in intimate spaces, and about how alcohol, fear, and anger can collide behind closed doors. Reeva Steenkamp obviously did not survive Valentine's Day. Her voice lives on in the messages she left behind, messages the court could not ignore. Those text messages that she had sent to friends, and the text messages that they had sent to each other. So there were 4 shots, 1 locked door, and a life that could not be taken back. So this case fits a pattern of alcohol and firearms, domestic conflict that tends to escalate at night and late at night, emotional volatility and impaired judgment, and lethal outcomes without clear premeditation. Alcohol was not the sole cause, but it was a critical contextual factor in the fatal chains of decisions that have been made that night. And I don't know that I've shared this before on the podcast, but I myself am a victim of domestic violence. And it also happened late at night, and it was alcohol fueled. So stories like this, like, I'm so thankful that that night that um, my experience didn't involve a firearm. Like, I've never had any firearms in my home. Not to say that it couldn't have involved a knife or something like that, but alcohol just raises, the volatility of situations that are going on. And it did the night that that happened to me. So stories like this really resonate with me. And I feel incredibly lucky, to have survived that incident in my life.
Yeah,
Um,
you've spoken passionately about Reeva Steenkamp before. In fact,
mhm,
it was probably on that episode, that first episode. Uh,
yeah.
but I know you and I have also talked offline about,
My experience.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, which was incredibly scary and, not really an isolated incident. Some things happened after that as well. But alcohol increases the risk, but it's not a direct cause. It doesn't cause murder in isolation. Instead, it interacts with conflict, stress, and other risk factors to increase the likelihood that tensions escalate into lethal violence. And in Pistorius's case, where both alcohol consumption and a firearm were present in a high stress situation, it reflects a pattern of risk behaviors often appear together in violent incidents. It may lower inhibitions or escalate emotional states, but it fully doesn't explain motive or intent by itself. So that is the story of what happened the evening of Valentine's Day 2013. Really scary story. I can't imagine locking myself into a little bathroom, and what really sealed the deal for him is that it wasn't a situation you think of if you are in a state of fear and you think that someone's broken into your home and you're thinking, oh, okay, they're behind that door. I have a gun. I feel like I'm under threat. I'm going to shoot 4 times. You probably shoot like indiscriminately, where these were very targeted shots, So it's almost like
Yeah.
he knew that somebody was sitting on, I believe she was sitting on the toilet, where they
But
found her.
also, I'm sure someone has mentioned this at some point, but I would also just like to point out that if you believe that an intruder is in your home and they are behind a locked door, what are the chances that someone's going to break into your home and then lock themselves in a bathroom?
Right.
They might be in a hallway or like in another bedroom or like where is the safe in your house?
Hmm.
But unless they break in and they have the runs, like what are the odds that they're going to go into the bathroom, close, and lock the door?
Here's my guess of what happened that evening. I'm guessing that it was Valentine's Day. They probably had a lot of wine, probably got into an argument because it said that he was very volatile and that she felt like
Mhm.
she walked on eggshells around him. I know this behavior very well from my past experiences where you just don't know what you're going to get with somebody whenever tensions escalate. My guess is he probably whipped out the gun on her. She ran to the bathroom and locked herself in to protect herself, and he shot in there 4 times and killed her
Yeah. Yeah, and the
and
fact that
murdered
neighbors
her.
heard screaming
Screams.
beforehand,
Yes, exactly.
I very much
Exactly.
think that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
His reaction in court, like the vomiting, I would imagine that he realized like the weight of what he had done after the fact because he was drinking. He probably
Right.
made a really poor decision, like a
Right.
one life altering decision for two people, and it probably really like came to him, in that moment
Yeah.
in court when he vomited.
Right. Right. I mean, when you have a reaction that, like that visceral and, reaction to something, it probably means that you're guilty.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean, because it's not like I would have a visceral reaction if one of my family members got murdered or something like that. Like it would make me sick,
hmm
like physically sick. But if I were, but surely by that time, like if he really cared about her, and they had only been dating for 3 months, like that type of behavior, I mean, that's supposed to be like the honeymoon period. So
yeah,
the fact that she was already like had all of these red flags with him, I mean, Nicole Brown Simpson had years of red flags with OJ. And I'm not in any way blaming her as victim blaming in any way that she stayed with him, because she wasn't with him technically when he killed her. I'm sorry. He's dead now. I'm going to say, I know he was found not guilty, but that man murdered she and Ron Goldman. I will go to my grave believing that.
yeah. I
you
believe
know,
that too. Yeah.
yeah. And the fact that he got off. But this reminds me so much of that case because people were so passionate about being angry that he was found guilty,
hmm
and I remember the OJ trial, and when he was found innocent, like there was this camp of people who were just like, oh my God, how is this possibly happening? And there were people who were just like elated that he got off because he was OJ Simpson. It was
Right.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely disgusting. So,
So I did just Google it, and he has been on parole for 2 years.
parole.
There's
Okay.
actually a news article that was released yesterday.
Wild. Right after I finished my story. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's gbnews.com, Britain's news channel, it says.
Oh,
Yeah, it says Oscar Pistorius now 2 years on from prison release, from new girlfriend to life in fortified mansion. So it just says he's been living a largely quiet life away from the public eye. Yeah, January 2024, Pistorius was released on parole after spending almost a decade behind bars.
So he did not serve the 13 and a half
He did
years.
not. He is banned from speaking to the media, giving interviews, or writing memoirs, which,
Oh, good. He can't profit off of this.
yeah,
That's
lesson
amazing.
learned from OJ, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, yeah, it says he lives in a fortified mansion owned by his uncle, Arnold Pistorius. Within weeks of his release, reports suggested that Pistorius rarely left the property, with family members traveling to see him instead. Claims that he had gained weight and taken up smoking while he was in prison. And it says here, in addition to media restrictions, Pistorius is required to attend compulsory therapy and correctional programs focusing on gender-based violence, anger management, and community service. Yeah.
And yet he still has a new girlfriend.
Well, that's what I'm trying to find. Oh, here it is. Pistorius is said to be dating Rita Grayling, a business management consultant and longtime family friend whose family has known the Pistoriuses for decades. So little is known about the relationship. So who knows what actually is going on there, but that's interesting. Yeah, so he's out and he's on parole and he's living quietly.
I can't imagine dating somebody who had been convicted of murdering another woman or another person, period, but
Right.
particularly another woman. Like, how do you do that? I don't care how long you've known the family or how long you've known the person. That's just gross.
Yeah. That's hard to wrap your head around for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and the facts that you shared up front were pretty interesting about the number of alcohol related. And I'm thinking like, I've had moments primarily when I was younger where I would be drinking and I would get angry or emotional, and that's not something that I really have to deal with at this age. Thank God, I'm a
Right.
little more emotionally stable, I guess.
Right.
Um, but I also know at this point in my life, and I also have, we drink on every episode. You generally have a THC cocktail, and I generally am drinking wine. But that's not like all we're doing. We're not just drinking all the time. It's sort of like our happy hour thing that you and I do together.
Right.
And I know myself well enough to say, if I'm in a bad mood or if I'm feeling sad, which honestly those two things don't happen to me that often, but when they do, I don't generally even feel like drinking.
Right.
And and I also know that if I do, it's going to,
Exacerbate
yeah, yeah,
the
exacerbate.
situation.
Yeah. So I just don't do it. Uh,
Yeah. If I'm feeling anxious or if I have anxiety, I feel like if I drink a lot of alcohol, it just like totally takes it to another level of high. So I try not to drink if I'm feeling like sheer anxiety because I suffer from anxiety. I take medication for
Me
anxiety.
too.
And so, and I've read that the worst, like one of the worst things you can do for anxiety is to drink. Because a lot
Mhm.
of people say, like, oh, it'll calm me down, it'll make me sleep better. And it doesn't.
No, I
No.
disagree.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm at a level of my life now where I have learned to drink responsibly. And it took me a really long time to get there, like a really long time, like into my 40s, like way into my 40s for me to understand how to drink responsibly and drink properly for my conditions that I have because I do suffer from depression and anxiety and I'm bipolar too and like all of these different things that just like alcohol is not that great for
And also
in
your
large
your
quantities.
and also your punching weight, Amanda. You're 3'2". How tall are you? Like 5?
I am 5 foot exactly. I am
Yeah.
60 inches.
Yeah. You're tiny. And so,
Ew.
yeah,
I'm
you
like
can
a
only
Keebler elf.
yes, you can only hold so much liquid in general.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I can't gotta make sure that it's not all alcohol running through my veins.
yeah,
But I feel like the THC cocktails are better for me.
yeah,
Now, I
yeah.
mean, that's not to say that I love like a good martini, you know, and that sort of thing. Like, but
It's delicious.
I can't just like hose them like I used to
Yeah,
whenever I lived in New York, I was off the rails, but I think we all were a little bit. I think New York makes you off the
it
rails.
does. What
Yeah.
rails? What
Yeah, there are no rails.
um, I like this series for us too because I feel like we joke a lot. I mean, we're pretty lighthearted when it comes to like doing our cheers, like our intro, and we've got a drink in hand, sort of a thing. But I like it because it's sort of a more serious look, and we can talk a little bit more in depth about it
Mhm.
than we
And
usually
talk
do.
freely about it. I mean, like, I'm the first to admit that, like, I probably had a drinking problem at one time. You know what I mean? Like,
I
I'm
was
now
there
that
for some of it,
yeah,
but
you
you
were
probably don't
there.
remember.
I've fallen down, quite a few times around you.
Uh-huh. And we can
Mhm.
laugh about it now. I mean, I'm pretty sure we laughed about it in the moment too.
Oh, we totally laughed about it in the moment.
Mm,
Oh, those were the days. Those were the days. But
mm.
yeah, in all seriousness, like definitely something to watch, like and be aware of. Because, particularly if you do date somebody, male or female, who has, anger issues and that sort of thing, like be mindful, with the alcohol intake and stuff like that, because like I said from experience, it's pretty scary and it's not something you want to go through and end up in the hospital about and all that kind of stuff like I did. Cautionary tale.
Yeah. Yeah, and using alcohol as a an escape or a release. I mean, I'm not to say that there isn't some form of release when you drink alcohol, because I think if you're in the right company, like you're with friends, it's a celebration. Like there are moments where you're dancing, you're doing karaoke, like we like to do.
Love it.
There are times where I think it can be a positive thing.
Hmm.
As long as you don't overdo it and feel like garbage the next day or two. But where was I going with this? I say I didn't eat lunch today, so I'm a little bit loopy. Oh, I had a good point too, Amanda. It was going to be fabulous.
You are fabulous. It doesn't matter.
I'm a little bit of a mess right now. I didn't eat lunch, but I am having wine, so that's not responsible. But guess what?
Why on an empty stomach?
Yeah, I'll have food after this. Um,
Well, Blake, this has been a wonderful discussion. And where can people continue to listen to us and watch us?
well, keep listening exactly where you are right now, which could either be on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. You can follow along on social media, Instagram and Facebook at the Forbidden Pod. Um, on social, on YouTube, uh, if you're watching this right now, leave a comment. Let us know, what are you drinking? Do you like mixing booze with? Uh, I remember what I was gonna say. It just came
Please
back to
do.
me. I told you, I knew it was gonna come back to me. Anxiety. I was talking about like anxiety and all that stuff. Instead of taking substances, sex is a great release.
Yeah, that's true.
Or masturbation, whatever,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes. Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself in a very healthy. I always get sleepy afterward, but I digress. I was going to say, if you're here, if you're watching us, leave a comment. Um, Let us know about yourself. Hit the follow, subscribe, share with a friend. But yeah, you can do all those things
At the Forbidden Pod.
at the Forbidden Pod. You can email us at hello@theforbiddenpod.com. We're always requesting, please send nudes. Uh,
Please. I mean,
please.
it's been 2 years already.
It has. Where are you? Um, you can check out some historical episodes, our archive on theforbiddenpod.com. I think we've just stepped into our second year, so
There's a
There's
lot of
6 months.
content.
Yeah, 6 months prior to when we even got on YouTube. There's some regrettable choices there if you care to to see us
Yeah, we
flounder.
weren't always that tempered with our drinking, folks, with this podcast.
Yeah, there's some moments that I don't care to go revisit, but I probably should at some point. I think that covers it all, right?
I do believe so.
Okay, I do want to talk real quickly because you know how I feel about this. For us, this is Thursday evening. We're here on January 8th. Well, a couple things, music related. We are on the 10-year anniversary of David Bowie's birthday, I believe.
Yes,
And also, or maybe that was the 7th. Either way, I think it was the 8th. Listen, I'm not going to get it exactly right, but it's also the 10-year anniversary of his album Black Star, which was fantastic. It's like this sort of like jazz fusion pop album with some incredible music videos. And it was released, I think he died on January 9th, the very next day, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right because I was at my sis. I was living in New York at the time. I was not working with you yet, so I did not know of your shared love for Bowie, but I recall being at my sister's um, home. I believe I had just gone to see New Order with her, and I woke up the next day and had found out that David Bowie had passed away. And she's a huge Bowie fan, kind of on your level of loving Bowie, and she was devastated.
Yeah, I was
And
at
I can't
work.
believe it's been 10 years.
I know. I was
It's
at
wild.
work, and this is not long before you joined, by the way, right? Like
No,
maybe a few
no,
months.
maybe a few months.
It was like
Yeah.
summer, I think, when you
Hmm.
came. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. So I believe that I started in May of 2016. Yeah. Wow.
yeah,
I can't believe I've known you for almost 10 years. That's wild.
I know. Oh God, we've gotten older.
Old. Yes.
But we were in a WeWork space, as you recall, and I
Yes.
remember sitting. Luckily, no one else was in my office space, but it's like all glass, and I was sobbing at my
Yeah.
desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
okay,
I knew he was ill. I guess I didn't realize he was as ill as he was.
yeah, I don't think they really shared that news until he died.
Yeah.
There might have been some. I can't remember now. It's been 10 years, but on the flip side, some exciting new music news, which I shared with you yesterday. I
Yes, you
I
did.
love pop music, and no one does it better than the Swedes. And Robyn is one of my all-time favorites. She just consistently puts out bangers
Yeah,
uh,
she just like fucking nails it every time.
every time. Her last album was 7 years ago, and it was solid. Like I loved it. But her favorite for me was always Body Talk, the Body Talk era, which was right when I moved to New York, so like 2010.
Mhm.
And she was working with Max Martin on that one, who, Max Martin produced her first album in 95, Show Me Love. You remember it, you love it. He also
Yes.
produced Britney's early stuff. And I think maybe a few things later in her career too. He's just like a hit maker. He did like the Backstreet Boys. Anyway, she's released three new songs recently. She released two yesterday. One of them is a Max Martin production, and it sort of goes back to, I mean, it's just pure pop, and I love it.
Love it.
And it's sort of sexy and sexual, but through like the lens of like a 40 plus woman, which I love even more. Because no one
Yeah.
does that. Like who's doing that?
No, no, nobody's doing that. And I
No
thought
one.
the same thing when you sent me the link yesterday. I was just like, "Oh my god, this is like incredible because nobody is doing that."
Yeah, so good.
Like so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just had to share that.
Yeah, check it out, folks. The
I
new
love that.
Robyn.
Yeah. The new song is called Talk to Me. And then the album coming up in March is called Sexistential. And that title track was also released yesterday. And they're both so fun.
Awesome. I hope she's gonna go like on tour or
Oh,
something.
she will.
So we would need to maybe go to that together.
We That is definitely going to happen. There's
Yeah.
no way I'm missing Robyn on a US tour. No way.
No, no. So we will go ahead and start planning that whenever her tour dates come out.
Yes.
Maybe we could go somewhere together that's different, like that neither of us live, like
Hmm.
LA or something like that. I'm sure she would have put on a great show in LA.
Oh
And
yeah.
I always love going to LA, and I haven't been to LA in years,
Oh, let's do it.
like years. Yeah. And I absolutely love LA. I know LA. I know how to drive in LA,
Well,
like
nobody
I know.
walks in LA,
No.
as the song says.
I know how to drive there intimately, because I spent a lot of time in LA when I lived in Vegas, because I
Hmm.
would pop over there, just drive over for a long weekend or whatever. So I feel like I know Los Angeles really well
Yeah.
for having never lived there.
And
Because some people like were just like, I will not drive in LA.
oh, I mean, I lived there for just 2 years, but this was 2008, 2009. In fact, I think I bought this T-shirt in LA probably in 2008, and like it looks. I hope it sort of looks intentional, maybe like
It
the
does.
the distressed thing.
Yeah, it
But
does.
no,
It looks like it would be like a Dolce& and Gabbana, like,
this shirt
distressed
costs
look.
$300.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I'm
That's exactly what it looks like, though.
it honestly, I can't get rid of it. It's one of my most comfortable t-shirts, and I love just for lounging or like for underneath like a button
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought this in 2000. I've had this for like 18 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And but again, I digress.
Well, Blake, thank you so much for listening to my story this evening.
Thanks for the memories.
And listeners, as always, we thank
Thank you.
you. Be careful with that alcohol.
Cheers.
Cheers.